Hello everyone, my name is SnowDrift. Some of you may know me as Brandon, as I recently told you guys my name on the channel. Welcome. This is a very special occasion for me. This video. I've actually been not really thinking about this video very much. I thought about it at work actually today. I was looking at some of my statistics for YouTube on my lunch break, and I realized that today, July the 3rd, marks the exact 3-year date in which I uploaded my very first YouTube video to this particular channel. In case you didn't know, I've had many YouTube channels. I haven't done it all, but I have done a lot. There was a time where I was doing like rant videos with my little brother. There were times where I did, did some homemade movies. I've always been extremely interested in filming. I've always had a love and a passion for it since a young age. I remember when I was very young, before my grandfather passed away. Even that wasn't very long ago either. But it's almost been 10 years. Next year will be 10 years since he passed away. And 10 years ago, I was just a measly, 13, 14-year-old. Which reminds me, it was also just my birthday. I am now the ripe old age of 24, which is pretty cool. 24 is a pretty cool age, I think. I'm almost, I'm going into like legit adulthood, not just being like 18 or whatever that fake adulthood is, because being 18 is fake. Like, that's the worst part of being an adult. Is on paper, yes, you're an adult, but you very much are not. Like, I'm really starting to get into this thing called life, that it is a trap. Like, growing up is a trap. Don't ever do it. But I had back to what I was saying before my grandfather died. My dad's father. I had a little voice recorder. And I loved that thing. I don't know what really drew me to wanting to be able to record only voice. Like, it was only, not pre-recorded, but it just recorded voice. It was just a voice recorder. And so I remember recording everything, like kind of like that whatever his name is, McAllister or whatever, from Home Alone 2 or whatever. He had that really nifty voice recorder thing that he used in some of his traps or whatever. I just really enjoyed that kind of stuff, and I really can't put my finger on why. I just really did. And I remember recording my dad talking to my grandfather, and I wish I still had that little voice recorder thing. I have no idea what happened to it. It's long gone. I really wish I still had it. I remember my first actual video camera. My mother actually got it for me, and it was just this piece of junk. Like, honestly, like, I know, don't get me wrong, I loved it. It was the greatest thing ever. Like, I filmed so many things with it, but literally, like, the lens was like smaller than this grip for a motorcycle. Like, it was unbelievably tiny. Such a small little lens on the thing, and I think it recorded maybe in 480. At its best, like with good lighting and everything. And then my dad got me another JVC camera. Actually, I might have it. Let's see. I think I found my original video camera. Yep, this is it. I lied. It's not. It wasn't a JVC. It was a Panasonic. Here it is, right here. This was my very first video camera, and I thought that this was incredible. It's a Panasonic SDR-S7 for anyone that cares. 5 volts, made in Japan. I thought that was really cool. And it could record video. It can still record video. Like, this thing barely looks like it was used. Like, it was so fascinating to me. Like, I loved this thing so much. It probably needs batteries. It probably needs its battery charged. I don't know. Maybe I'll film something with this. That'll be something really cool. I'm going to film a video of this and upload it to the channel. I'm going to. That is going to be so cool. It's going to look horrible, but it'll be cool. But, like, I was so happy to have it. Like, my mom probably didn't spend but, 30 or 40 bucks on it. But at the time, that was the greatest thing ever for me. Like, I loved it. And then my dad got me a bigger one, and this is sort of leading me. Like, this story, this story I'm telling you, it's not just some off the cuff thing. Like, I want this to kind of be off the cuff a little bit. Like, this isn't scripted, but I did kind of sit back on my drive home and think, well, what am I gonna say? And this is just, I've been doing YouTube for over 10 years easily, but this channel, I actually started this channel on June 16th 2015. But I didn't upload my very first YouTube video, or my very first SnowDrift, my very first my very first video on this particular channel until July the 3rd, and it was my SnowDrift Begins video. And I tell you guys, like, it was so much fun. Like, so many great memories come flooding back from that time in my life, and so many horrible memories come flooding back too. It was an extremely difficult time for me personally, and I remember that feeling when I got my very first motorcycle that was mine, my 900RR, and I had the Bell Evo helmet. It was like the Bell Star helmet. It was the brand, the manufacturer of the helmet was Bell, like it was a Bell helmet, and the name of it was the Evo, and like it shared a lot of the characteristics of the Star helmet that they made, I think it was, and it was modular. I thought it was super cool, and it was cheap, and I had my Speed and Strength jacket, the white one that you guys may sort of kind of remember. And like I just had like the basics, you know what I mean? Like, I did not have the best gear or the best motorcycle, but to me it was some of the greatest stuff in the whole world, you guys. And I remember, like, the first year of me riding, all I could think about was like, man, I want to motovlog so bad. I wanted to motovlog so damn bad. Like, I could taste it. Like, I was doing research on video editing software to see what kind I would like. I used to use this really old crappy software called Nero, and it worked. Like, it did what I needed it to do. It was kind of nifty in its own right, but we paid money for it. My dad actually purchased it for me, and then I paid him back one way or the other, cutting grass, things like that. And but man, it was such a disappointment. Like, I couldn't hardly do anything with it. Like, it was a ripoff is what it was. And then I started doing research, and I don't know if I've told you guys this before or not, but I use Sony Vegas, and I really like it. It's not the greatest in the world, but my God, is it extremely simple to use once you get your mind wrapped around it. So you know, I started doing research about all this stuff for motovlog, and I just thought, you know, my God, one of my biggest hobbies that I have, filming, making videos, and doing YouTube stuff, because I used to do like gaming stuff. I do gaming stuff now, but I used to be like hardcore. Like I used to like post videos of like news about gaming. Like, I remember one of my videos was like, I was talking about like the PS3 coming out or something like that. It was crazy. It was crazy times back in the day in my younger teens, before I could drive. You know, I had a lot of time on my hands. So I just remember like getting my motorcycle and riding around for over a year, going back and forth to college and whatnot. I'm just thinking like, damn, I want a motovlog so bad. Like, just my two, at the time, most beloved hobbies, besides like gaming and doing stuff with cars, you know, like working on my 300ZX or whatever. I don't even think I had it at the time. I don't remember. I don't know. But just working on cars in general. I had a 240 at the time. I know that. But just doing stuff like that. And I remember I was at a really low point in my life, you guys. I remember laying in bed at my grandparents' house, because I was living with my grandmother at the time and my grandfather, my other grandparents, and I was just laying in bed, and it was just so quiet. Like, you know, I had a lot. Don't get me wrong. I had a whole lot of stuff. You know, I had a bed. I had a roof over my head. I had a decent computer. I had a PlayStation 4, and my PlayStation 4 was basically a gift from a friend that just wanted me to play. You know, and I had a decently sized television and things like that. It's not like I was just, you know, completely, you know, bored, didn't have things to do, but I just remember laying in bed thinking, you know, how useless I was, you know, because I was going to college, and I was trying to do my best, and I've never told you guys this before, but college really wasn't going very well for me, you know. I was failing some of my classes, literally failing them, and not because I wasn't paying attention, and I was doing my homework and everything, but a lot of stuff that, you know, even though I was paying attention, it just kind of confused me. Some of the classes I was taking just really confused me, and I could not wrap my hand around some of the stuff that the doctors or whatever they are, professors, were trying to explain. And it's kind of like they didn't ask you questions. They weren't like, okay, class, do you understand this? You know, they didn't really do that. It's like, okay, either you get this or you can go get some aid, some student aid or whatever, or the tutors. You could, like, not the school had tutors that you could go see. And I was going there all the time trying to figure out some of this stuff that I was trying to learn, and everything just wasn't going the way I wanted it to. And I remember laying in bed. It was a futon. I remember laying on my futon. It was probably 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, because I didn't sleep very well. I did not sleep well back then. And this was, you know, early June 2015, right before I started the channel. And I remember just laying there staring at my iPhone that I had. It was like an iPhone 4 or 5, like it was old. And I remember staring at it and just, you know, watching MotoVloggers. Like I was watching Jake the Garden Snake. I was watching some Do It With Dan's stuff. And I remember that right around that time is when motovlogging became super popular. Like everybody was doing it, man. Everybody was doing it. And everyone was getting good at it. And I stopped watching it. I completely stopped watching it. I may have had something playing on the television, just like, you know, I was using my mom's Netflix or something like that, or my sister's Netflix, and I may have had something playing, or maybe I don't know, like Destiny 1 was up on the screen, because, you know, I would have been playing that at the time or something like that. But I was just laying there. It was pitch black outside, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't have a lot of money. Like I had almost no money to my name. Like I didn't have a decent job. I almost had no job at all. You know, it gives me anxiety just thinking about it. Like just not having any income just sucks so bad. Like my grandmother worked very hard to keep me afloat, to keep pretty much everyone that lived in that house afloat, honestly. And I remember just sitting there, and I may have had like $200 in my bank account, and that was it. And I owed money to people. Like I had, you know, I was still paying on my motorcycle at the time. Like I got it paid off shortly after that, but I was still, like, you know, trying to pay my motorcycle off, and I had student loans coming up, and you know, I was paying for my car as well. Like I owed money on my car. Like I was not in a very good position at all. And I was laying there in bed, and I picked my phone back up. I went to eBay, and I found the cheapest GoPro Hero 3 that I could possibly find. I found a Hero 3 Silver Plus is what it was, because that was the newest one, or the oldest one that I could buy that would do 720 at 60 and 1080 at 30, because I wanted to be able to record in at least 1080 at 30. I'm pretty sure. And it also had like the Pro Tune stuff, I believe. There was a reason why I wanted the silver. I didn't want to get the white. I really wanted the black, but I couldn't find a cheap enough one. And I spent like, I could probably go back and look, but I spent like 150 maybe on it, maybe more, $175 on it used. And I got a lot of stuff with it and everything. Um, and one of the biggest problems that I had before it. No, I remember what it was. The reason I got that one in particular is because it was microphone capable. You could hook up a microphone to it with the little adapters. And what happened is I had there was one point in my, before all this happened, a few months back, where I did have some money saved up before I had to pay a bunch of bills and everything. And I bought the new Hero that had just come out. Like, it came out like right when the 4 was coming out, and it came out, and it was like $100. Like, it was so cheap, and I looked at it, and or it was like $150. I couldn't remember, and like, it was so cheap, and my local Walmart had them, and I looked at it, and I was like, I can afford that, so I bought it before I did any research on it. And they are not microphone compatible. I couldn't hook a mic up to it. I was kicking myself for it, and I was livid pissed. Like, I was so mad, and I just, I didn't take it back. I ended up keeping it, which was stupid. I should have just taken it straight back to the store. But it took me a while to figure out that it wasn't microphone compatible, because I had to order stuff and wait for it to come in and whatnot. Like, it was a mess. But that night, I bit the bullet. I was like, you know what? This is make it or break it for me. This is something I really, really, really want to do. So I did it. I purchased it. It came in a couple days later. I had everything I needed: a microphone adapter with GoPro. I had my Bell helmet. I hooked everything up, got it working, and then I filmed my very first motovlog, and it was a colossal disaster. Like, I scrapped the entire thing. I can't even remember what it was about. Honestly, I remember getting the camera, around June 15th, 16th, something like that. I got the camera right around the exact same time I made the channel. I made the channel on June 16th, and my birthday is on June 30th, for the few of you that are wondering. And for my birthday, this was literally just 2 weeks later, the only thing I asked for was some money from my family. I got some money from my family, from my mom's side of the family. I got some money from my dad's side of the family. I even got a couple bucks from some of my friends, and I ordered the Icon variant, and the staple of all motovloggers. But man, I loved that helmet. I loved the way that thing looked, and so that's why on the very first video that's on the SnowDrift channel, you can see that in the B camera, that B camera that's on my bike that's staring back at me was the Hero that I bought, and I've still got it. It does a really good job still, just having it as a spare camera just for odd and end stuff. And the shots where the Hero 3, where it's on my helmet and I can look around from that, and y'all can see the video from that perspective, that was actually on my Bell helmet. I didn't have the hookup on the variant just yet. I had literally just gotten it. And so what I did is that I had to make 2 videos and then put them together. And so, I mean, it's something really, really simple and easy to do. Anyone could do it. But a lot of people thought it was weird. It's like, oh yeah, that looks kind of cool, but no one really knew. People could figure out how I did it, but it was kind of funny looking to some people that knew what they were looking at. But yeah, I mean, I literally went broke buying gear and equipment to motovlog with, and looking back on it now, after 3 years, it was a stupid idea. It was a dumb decision, but I would, if I was in that situation right now, I probably would have made the same choice. I loved the idea of motovlogging. I still love the idea of motovlogging. Like, it was something that it was almost like a desperation. Like, I needed that outlet. Like I needed someone I could talk to that wouldn't actually talk back to me, you know, talking to a camera, talking into a microphone while doing something that I absolutely adore, which is riding motorcycles. It was just, it was my little oasis away from this hellish world that we live in. Like, and don't get me wrong, it's not like I'm living in some third world country or something like that, but I was borderline depressed about the fact that I wasn't doing good in college and I wasn't making any money. I was just so down about it. And motovlogging made me happy. It really did. I could go out. I could go anytime I wanted to. Gas wasn't that expensive. Like, I couldn't go all the time. Like, there were days where I'm like, I wish I could ride, but I can't because I don't have any gas money. And most of you know that gas money for a motorcycle is $5. And there were some days I did not have that. There were some days where I would not have eaten if it wasn't for my friends. And my grandmother taking really good care of me. And it was pitiful. It was piss poor. And I hated that I was in that kind of situation. But more times than not, my friends would come over to my house and they would, you know, they would get me on my motorcycle and they would go fill my tank up and we would go ride for hours. Like, those memories can never be replaced. They were some of the funnest times of my life simply because it was all I had. And it was all a lot of my friends had, you know. Riding and motovlogging was blissful to me. I loved it so much. I still love it. Even though now I can do almost anything I want to do with the channel. You know, I've got a really good job, a really amazing wife, and you know, she supports me so much, more than she probably should, because I've got a lot of hobbies that I really enjoy doing, but filming and making videos is something that has always had a special place in my heart. And motorcycles, along with cars, have only recently had a special place in my heart. I've only been messing around with cars and trucks and things like that for only about 10 years now. More like 9. It was right when I started driving, which would have been when I was 15, you know? And I really had a love and a passion for that kind of stuff because it was something I didn't really know. And so after I started figuring things out, I really had a love for it. I started rebuilding cars, engines, you know, putting clutches in cars, pulling transmissions left and right. I got good at it. I got really good at it. And I love that knowledge. I adore knowing how to do cool shit like that. And then it carried over into motorcycles. So I really didn't know how I wanted to do this video. I didn't really know what I was going to talk about. Like I said in the beginning, like, it was very unscripted. I just wanted to sit down and talk, you know. I know a lot of you guys don't really like the whole me sitting and talking and babbling and whatever, but it's something that I need to do for myself every now and then. Like, I just need to get a lot of stuff off my chest, out of my mind, and into video form. So 3 years uploading to this channel extremely inconsistently. I have uploaded 85 videos in a 3-year span. That's poor. That's very poor. I should have like 600 videos up by now, but you know, most of you know how life is. I just don't have that kind of time. I really, really do not. If I had another hour of every single day that I could spend making videos with you guys, I would. For you guys. I really would. I really do enjoy making videos. But we are at 223 subscribers. And this time last year, 2 years ago, almost to the date, I actually messed up and I was like 3 days late on the channel anniversary or whatever. I had 89 subscribers. 89 after 2 years. So my math is not fantastic, let's just do some math on that real quick. In 1 year, in 1 bloody year, I have gained 134 subscribers. Thank you, all of you. Thank you so damn much. God, that makes me feel great, because it makes me feel like that within a 2-year time frame, I have made such more entertaining content and informational content for you guys. That makes me feel fantastic. In 1 year, we have gained 134 subscribers. That is crazy. Now, granted, compared to some other channels that get like 4,000 subscribers a day, not naming anyone in particular, just a few channels that I personally watch, literally they get 3,000 to 4,000 subscribers in a single day. That's great. That's fantastic. But they also upload a video every single day, or every other day, or at least weekly, at least. So, you know, I upload at least 1 video every month. I wonder what my problem is. So, with that being said, I'm going to close this video out, you guys. I didn't want to make this like so emotional. I didn't want to be, I just wanted to tell you guys some stuff about me. Like, I wanted to tell you, like, I really wanted to transfer the feeling that I had when I was first starting out making motovlogs and stuff 3 years ago. How I really felt. I'll get, and for any of you that are thinking about motovlogging, I'll give you some advice. We'll call this little short section at the end of the video, how to be a motovlogger. So if I could give you any advice at all, if I could start over, if I could wipe clean and start over, which I guess I could, but I'm not going to, because I love what I've created, even though I haven't worked nearly as hard as I wish I could have. Number one rule, and I don't care who you are, or how big your channel is, or whatever, you will agree with me or you're wrong. And this is how I absolutely feel. And if you don't feel this way, then you're wrong. You need to listen to me. I'm telling you. Do not start your YouTube channel unprepared. If you disagree with me, then you're wrong. Like, that's not opinion. That is a fact. You need to be completely prepared. Now, I don't mean like you're wrong if you're just really excited and you want to start a channel. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about start the channel when you are ready to start the channel. If that makes sense. I'm sure it doesn't. What I mean is don't start your channel half-assed, okay? Like, for example, me. I started my channel very half-assed, the way that I did it. My very first video ever didn't even have any dialogue. It had no commentary whatsoever. Do you know why? It's because I didn't have a microphone. I said earlier in the video that I had a microphone. I did get my microphone, but I wanted to post a video so bad I couldn't have just waited like the 2 extra days to film and actually create a motovlog. My first video on my motovlogging channel was not a motovlog. It was a music video, so to speak. Like, it was horrible. Like, it didn't get hardly any views at all. It still doesn't have that many views. New videos I post have more views than what it has. So, that's rule number 1. Don't half-ass it. Rule number 2. Make sure you edit your videos properly. That might go kind of hand in hand with the first thing I said, but make sure you actually cut the crap out of your video. The dead air where you're not saying anything, make sure you cut all that stuff out. Make it snappy, so to speak. You don't want it to go all slow, and you'll lose audience retention. Trust me, I know. And most importantly, rule number 3. I've got rule number 1 and rule number 2 down. I do. Rule number 3, and it's something that I'm still working on. Upload consistently and frequently. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. And you need to raise your bar. That you can't just throw up a video like this every single day and expect it to be good. I mean, I think there's a channel where this guy literally sits in a corner in his room and eats cereal and he gets like 1 trillion views or whatever. I mean, people come up with weird, quirky shit all the time that gets them a lot of views. But if you want to be more along the lines of taken seriously as a YouTuber, and being taken seriously as a YouTuber does not necessarily mean that you have to be serious. You can do whatever you want, but you need to show a certain professionalism, so to speak. So upload consistently and frequently. Sorry guys, that was my dad. This is not something I normally do either, but my dad's brother, my uncle, he has I believe a heart ulcer, and so they will be cracking his chest open and doing open heart surgery this Thursday, the 5th of July. So yeah, it's been a pretty big ordeal. So it's been really emotional for my grandmother, and for my uncle. Obviously, it's not something that they've had to deal with, So yeah, if you would give him some love either through the channel or whatever. I'm sure or pray for him if that's something that you do. I would really, really appreciate that. Because it is kind of scary. It's very, very scary having open heart surgery. My wife could tell you more about it. She actually works in the ICU, so that's a lot going on. It's really, really scary. So I just thought I'd throw this in the video, you guys. Just something to say, since I'm just talking. Since this is just a talking video, I've been talking for like 45 minutes almost. So, yeah, I just want to tell you guys that. That's what that phone call was about. So, there's that. So, those are the 3 rules. Those are the 3 things that I could tell you that will make you a successful YouTuber. No doubt. Those 3 rules will make you successful. A little 4th rule, not really a rule, just a piece of advice. Just be unique. Be unique. Be your own person. Don't try and copy somebody. You're never going to get anywhere copying somebody unless you copy what they do and you do a better job. I mean, I'm copying every MotoVlogger that's ever existed just by being one. You know what I mean? But be your own MotoVlogger. Be your own person. I mean, there are guys out there that are 10 times funnier than I am, and that's why they're successful. It's just something it's my outlet. It's a way for me to talk to you guys without having to really, have you guys talk back to me immediately, except in the comments. You know what I mean? So, yeah. 3 years of being a MotoVlogger, and so much has happened to me. Some of the greatest moments of my life have happened to me while I've had this channel live, you guys. And it's... but, thank you guys for watching. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. We're doing good. We're not growing as much as some other people, but hey, that's fine. That's cool. I really do appreciate the people that are subscribed. You guys are the best. I love each and every one of you so much. Hugs and kisses. Big hugs and kisses. Thank you so much for being awesome. I will be finishing my gaming videos very soon, I promise. We've still got to finish Getting Over It, which I know is long past its popularity, but I'm going to finish it. I got to finish Getting Over It. I got to finish all my Quake stuff, which I have a lot of that filmed. I got to finish, that's Quake 3 Arena, by the way. I got to finish Fallout 4. Fallout 4, Getting Over It, Quake 3, and God of War. I've actually finished God of War. I just have to edit it and upload it. So it's finished. It's a great freaking game, man. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Definitely recommend playing it if you haven't. Thank you so much, Santa Monica. You guys are fantastic. Oh my God. And Christopher freaking Judge. Oh my God. You are the man. Ah, man. Oh, it's such a great game. Thank you, everyone, so much for watching. like I said, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and I hope you all have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. All right, well, now that that's over, 3-year anniversary. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy, isn't it, Biggie? You guys probably haven't seen my hamster in a long time. Isn't that crazy, buddy? Don't look at me like that. Go back to sleep. Oh, I gotta get ready and go watch some fireworks. It's supposed to be the 4th of July, right?